Ghana's president, His Excellency Nana Addo Akuffo Addo, or say he is not in charge of say yebe jailing for ewo Ghana ha.
I'm not responsible for jailing people in Ghana.
Let's talk GH rumors. And any first time I will share me a message say over subscribe e de ama me na fe wa click e notification bell ne so say de be ya me uploading new video bia onsa ebetimi aka. Na yenim say for some time now stop galamsey now protest koso ewo Ghana ha nam so ma ye cheche protesters ni bi e de koto aban kukuma ye chiomu based on the fact say according to Emrano say o ma amfa kwan so e na de ye o protest no santi citizens ni bebre proteste kra e ka say oh yenjai omo na omo de na nka ye free or just harmless protest bi no mo ye keke eno enam so e mankofo bebre abekasa na over the weekend France 24 ye ko interview Nana Addo Akuffo Addo ho ni ebusa ne say Nana Addo wo krom ho Ghana honum protesters na ya chiwa wa me ya chiwo na Nana Addo say hey me in charge of say ye Ghana fo ebusia by Ghana TV 7 country o say who be hia say ye Ghana fo ye bedi de ye wo Ghana na ya hye de ye wo Ghana say de be ya my Ghana bituma ko nanim na importation eso betse so show screen so be say numbers bi twagu wo an me so be pick number no say wo ye Ghana ni a wo ye made in Ghana products no bituma ye video short video no asend de ama ye be ye advert ama free of charge ope enquiries bi anso a obetini afre numbers no ye be ma wo chemu bi a wo hia na no say onu onye in charge of say ye jailing nkofo ewo Ghana no ka onye against protest so na emom no say wo ko na koye wa adie bi ne ye chiwo de ya ono de onu ni nsenim because Ghana law no practice law no independently in Timra
because there's no substance to it.
Right. Are you concerned about protest movements? We've seen a lot of protests. Some activists were arrested, put in jail. The opposition is saying you're trying to stifle dissent.
I'm not responsible for jailing people in Ghana. The courts in Ghana are independent institutions, and they have been all through this period of the Fourth Republic. People misconduct themselves and they're brought before court. It's for the court to deal with them. That's not a matter.
It has nothing to do about politics.
It has nothing to do with the executive. And their behavior is what lands them in problem with the police and with the courts. It's not the protests. How can the president, who himself, his political career was aided by leading protests, have problems with protests?
Na said de Nana Addo kanu no eno ka Ghana fo bi ko bisa say say yet Ghana na yet sempanyufo bi kasa ya na enema timi happen kakra nti ade ntina we mu de eja protest course we chire na we against it na bibia untimi nka bibia amfa ho na nso eja o say onye in charge of that then komo chichie no ekoso na no ana Nana Akuffo Addo His Excellency yesa busa ne say opposition NDC for be ka say isi no mu wonsa hyemu na mu ye kululu wa wasa say hey me nsanso nse ni na say that already e wo twe no free bibia mo person che say isi nso independent body a o mankasa o mo gi o mo ho enti ene o chechire mu kwan e fast we kosi ye ne ba ye nyina yenti edo so mra ba meto amoso
is worried about the fairness of the election. They're saying the way voter registration is going is not fair. They want an audit. They don't trust you.
They can't, it's not me. I'm not responsible.
The Electoral Commission.
I'm not responsible for the electoral process. That's the Electoral Commission. They had an opportunity the other day. The Electoral Commission chose to broadcast publicly its deliberations on these issues, and I think the whole country came to realize that in fact there was very little substance in the claims that the opposition was making, and they have now gone ahead to say that they will abide by the program that the Electoral Commission has laid out. I think that means implicitly that the demands that they were making have been shelved, and they have to be shelved.
Nana Addo no His Excellency Ghana President ona okasa no wo any suggestion bia na comment bia betimi eja ewo comment section ho then komo no ekoso na wo sakansem foforo we asem we de yenim say early this year na Mali ene Niger ana Burkina Faso e de betu dwa say ECOWAS no omo enka ho biem ne santi yebusa na nado na dwenkyere fa ho no kyese eya na odwe ho na eye na hometi obenya anka omo nsambra sa eye 3 countries omo nsambra back ema meka ECOWAS no ho na ocheche nsem bebre.
I want to begin with the situation in the region. In July, Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger have created a so-called Confederation of Sahel States. They've had announced that they would withdraw from the regional bloc ECOWAS. How worried are you that this could signal the end of ECOWAS?
It has to be a worrying situation. ECOWAS is a 50-year-old organization, and until this decision on the part of these 3 states, it had been an important homogeneous bloc. So for 3 of them, and they're all founder members of ECOWAS, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali, for them to come to this situation is regrettable. There can be no 2 ways about it. Now, I don't believe there's any serious-minded West African who will be happy at what has happened. What then matters is what are we going to do about it?
Because they say we're going out.
Well, it's their right. I mean, because even the treaty that binds us all together has provisions for you to walk out. So that's something that is foreseeable. But I don't believe it's in their interest. I don't believe it's in the interest of the wider ECOWAS bloc to allow this to happen.
So you still hope for a solution?
Well, more than hope. We have to continue to work at it, to make sure that we can, at the end of the day, find some common ground that would allow them to look at the return to ECOWAS. We have to do that. They are 3 important members of our community, and we can't just wash our hands off them.
Right. What they've done is wash their hands off ECOWAS. When it came to promising transitions, there were sanctions were lifted. They played around with ECOWAS, and the intentions are pretty clear. They want to stay in power.
That's obvious, and that I suspect.
You were taken for a ride. That was my
well, it may well be, but whatever be the case, that cannot mean that we will stop wanting to work to see what the possibilities are of a reintegration of the 3 countries back into ECOWAS. There's no reason for us to continue to wash our hands off them. Even if they want to wash their hands off, we cannot wash our hands off them.
Let's take the example of Niger.
Right.
Niger, there's a coup. Elected President Mohamed Bazoum arrested. ECOWAS says we want him out, and we're threatening military intervention.
It hasn't happened.
1 year later, military intervention is off the table, unless I missed something. And President Bazoum is in jail, and no one says anything.
It is an unacceptable position.
Should there have been a military intervention?
I don't want to get into that discussion. It didn't happen.
And it won't happen.
Well, how states evolve and how policies evolve, you cannot predict. But at the moment, it's not happening, and Bazoum is still in prison. I think that his position is unacceptable. It's completely unacceptable that a democratically elected leader like Bazoum should be treated in the manner in which he has been treated. Essentially, people are throwing mud in the face of the Nigerian people. We have to continue to insist on his freedom. As far as I'm concerned, his freedom, unconditional freedom, is still very much on the table, and we will continue to agitate for it and to be part of the ECOWAS demand that he be freed as soon as possible.
Speaking of security, French troops left. Those countries said, we're going to take care of security ourselves, bring Russian mercenaries or whatever. You are a neighbor of Burkina Faso. From your viewpoint, has the situation worsened since the French troops have withdrawn, or has it improved?
It's certainly not improved. I don't think there's any doubt about it. I think just yesterday or the day before, we saw a massacre of large numbers of civilians again. And they are right on our border, so we have a good idea of what is going on. The security situation does not appear to have improved. And the need for us to find a solution to this terrorist insurgency in West Africa has grown stronger and stronger.
Are you obviously worried, I assume from what you said, about the state of democracy in West Africa? There are coups. There are also the issue of presidential terms, being changed. We change the constitution.
It's a difficult period. You'll have these up and downs, and right now
you're going down.
It's down. But I'm confident that the majority of people in West Africa continue to have great faith. I mean, for instance, when people had doubts about which way it was going to go in Senegal, you saw the big turnout of people.
Let's talk GH rumors. And then the first time I will share me, I make sure say, subscribe, mami na fi, wa click notification bell so, na make sure say, share so amanko for a share. Ma mo bo me chidom down, no me ka say, onyami o inshia mu. Any update bi aba, me say, baba be so mu, mi ding na ne kwa santoa, makramo.